Hello, guys. Welcome to the show. A lot of noise tonight. All right, let's see. Guys, just to let you know, our neighbor dog is not having it again tonight. It's going to be a night. How are you? We're here. You guys, I haven't created a lot of content for you lately. Hi, welcome to the show. How are you? My name is Lisha. I am your host. Whew, it's been a lot on Facebook lately, a lot in the Liberian community. And mm, I'm just checking to make sure we're live on all platforms. Let me check to see. Lately, I don't think I've been checking my YouTube. Check YouTube. You guys, share the show. We're checking to see if we're live on all platforms. Welcome to the show. Sorry, I keep smacking. If you see put to the green, my teeth, I just ate. Just had dinner. Okay. I make sure that I don't have it. But if I do, I apologize. Apologize. Mm, how are you guys doing? How is life treating you? Happy Easter. My mom's birthday is coming up. Whenever I see that we have, you know, Easter, I always know that my mom's birthday is around the corner. She's gonna be a year older this year. Got one person watching. Hi. I am just making sure that I'm live on YouTube because for some reason, like, I don't really pay too much attention to it. Because we're moving big. Let me see if it's subscribers. You guys set up your notification. There's one person watching in. Check this out. Let's check my other page. I don't want to be here too long. You guys, I think my makeup is not good. Shit. When I come on this thing, it be looking flawless. Yeah. I don't think it looks good right now. You guys, I've been gaining weight because I've been eating junk on the go because I'm super tied up. I'm working on some few things. They show on the cover. It's been busy. It's been, but very soon. April is around the corner. Shout out to the birthday girl. My mommy's birthday is coming up, y'all. My mom's birthday is coming up on the first on Monday. Been working on stuff with her for her. Hope she have a great birthday. Uh, yeah, I hope my mommy has a really good birthday. Working. My sisters and I were putting something together. Hopefully, birthday will be nice. But when she turns 70, I'm throwing her a huge party. A huge. I'm gonna start planning it now. If you're wondering why my face looks so chunky, I've been eating junk. Yeah, junk, junk, all junk, junk food. I'm usually a healthy eater, but I've been on the go, like just busy and just been working out. But I know about myself is I can lose weight like that. If I really like put effort within 2 days, not 2 days, within a week or two, I can drop trim a lot of weight. But anyways, welcome to the show. Tonight we're talking about trauma. And I feel like this is something that most people do not like to talk about. It makes you vulnerable, it makes you uncomfortable. You don't want to talk about it. It's private in our community. I want to say, I don't know if we're educated on that or it's just like a taboo that we don't talk about it, don't discuss it. Um, there's no trauma. At first, I was say Black people don't have trauma. Like, what? We are the most trauma filled culture. I call Black people a culture. We are a culture. I think we have the most trauma that we don't talk about so often. And it's sad. That doesn't mean it's not there. It's there. We have it. But I think once we become aware of what we have, we become better people. So tonight we're going to talk about trauma in general for this week. And I think we need to pay a little bit more attention to it. Tonight I'm going to be discussing, I will define what trauma is, the definition from a psychology standpoint. I am not a psychologist, a psychotherapist. Everything said on here will be based on my opinion and things I've read. So I am not here to help you heal. I'm not a therapist. If whatever I says is something that helps you, then I'm grateful for that. But if it's something that, let's see. Oh no. Oh no. What is this? Cancel that. You guys. Oh my goodness. No. So I'm about the show tonight. I want you guys to see. But if you are dealing with any type of trauma that I suggest to you, this is just a suggestion, you need to seek counsel. And I think all of us that are from Africa in general, Liberia, I think we all need to make sure we get some type of healing. Uh, so tonight we're going to talk about generational trauma. I'm going to define what trauma is. If you're not aware of it, I know a lot of people don't like things that are educational. That's okay. But if you can, if I would like you to share the show. We can share light on it. We're going to be here for exactly 1 hour. And tonight I'm here. So we got one person watching. I'm going to go ahead and share this show and then we'll jump into it. Okay. Okay, guys. Oh, man. There are childhood traumas, adult trauma, relationship trauma, all of the trauma in the world. You've experienced it, I've experienced it. The family secrets. Oh yeah, those ones. They're family secrets that people don't want to talk about. Is taboo, you know, all of that. So let's try the show. I understand you guys. I'm probably being kicked out of Facebook algorithm right now because I haven't been too busy on here. Uh, I've been a little bit tied up, focused, something that I'm so if you're new here, just want to say welcome, and I hope we can learn together through our opinions and things like that. Um, yeah, welcome to the show. Let's get it popping. We're gonna share the show, and we're gonna invite new people to the show. Let's go. All right, let's see what groups we can share this to. Let me share the show to those groups. See if it's all there. How's your week been? I hope you guys have had a great week. Happy Easter. Tomorrow is the Resurrection Sunday, and I definitely need to go to church. Uh, my schedule's been watching. Definitely did the kids. I did my daughter hair. I have planned on doing my hair, but no time today because it's I have one to take care of. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great Easter. It's a reflection time. I should have done something about um, Easter, but I think this kind of like can tie to Easter a little bit because we're talking about trauma. There was a trauma that God, the Son of God, went through for us. There's a lot of business that where women are tearing each other apart. Um, it's quite disturbing to watch. Uh, there's a whole lot of cheating and a lot of crazies happening in a minute. And in my opinion, it's trauma that's causing that. People have not healed. You will hear people say, I'm healed, I've done the work, I'm doing the work, but are you really doing the work? Are you really healed? Have you really taken the time to know who you are? Have you really tried um, to understand your family history? One thing I really like about the US, guys, my head is down because I'm sharing the show. One thing I like about the US and the American culture in general is that wherever you go, you're going to be asked, um, like, what is your family history? A lot of us are not aware of our family history. Guys, I'm guilty too. I just, I've learned about my family history by getting pieces from different areas, asking certain questions. But there was a revelation that just happened recently. So my little daughter, I don't mind sharing it. She's doing quite well now, but a few weeks ago, she's always, they always say there's one of those kids, right? So my son, we never really had to go to ER or anything like that. It's pretty, everything decent. But my daughter, we she catches, these colds and things from daycare and things like that. So, and hers is always like traumatic. It's not like, oh yeah, she's okay and that's it. But if a child is sick and is hanging around her, that's what we try to keep her away. And I think maybe I'm saying that my son didn't really experience this because I was working from home for quite a while and he was with me. So maybe that's the reason. But so the reason I'm sharing this anyways is because we're talking about trauma and there are certain things in our lives that we're not aware of that you guys can talk about. But welcome to the show. I just got done sharing the show. So every now and then you're gonna see me look down. This thing on my phone is because I try to monitor the comment on my phone by looking at it. So I'm gonna set this right here. I want to focus on you guys tonight, and you're gonna see me look on here because we're gonna talk about the definition of trauma. Okay. And we're gonna go through a few of those, and I'm gonna break this segment to parts, and we're gonna get the definition, try to understand it, and then we'll touch a little bit on where are these coming from. So bear with me tonight. I hope some people will join us tonight. Panelists looks like everybody's busy, so it might just be I alone tonight. But that's okay. I got you guys, and we're here to make this happen. So, welcome to Let's Talk with Miss Felicia. My name is Felicia. I am your host. And here we talk about all things relationship, education, and positivities. And we just try to learn throughout things that come up. So, if you're new here, there's a seat here at the table. And if you want to join me on stage, you can click on the link that's pinned in the comment section and you can join me up here. If you don't want to, you can post your questions and things like that in the comment section. And I will go ahead and have your comment posted up here and we can discuss it. With that being said, also, if you don't want to stick on Facebook, so watch this, you can actually watch this on YouTube as well, which is at Let's Talk with Miss P 2023 is from 2023 because that's when I scheduled to shoot this podcast, September 20th. Initially, this entire have shifted and has changed, and I'm working on getting this show a segment on a radio. I want to be on one of those major radio in Nigeria, but I'm looking for people that will represent. So if you know anybody, a youth, guys, I said this in January. I'm ready to do that. If you know a youth, anybody that's between the age of 17 to 25, please, please, boys, girls, I need some of those people that are been debates, classes, and things like that. That they're eloquent, or even if they're not, they just know their way around the media. So, but I would like them to be based in Liberia because that's where I to go. So, if you know any of those people, I've been working on a few things with some people. So, I would like to have that officially. Um, my son's birthday, I want that to be something that's happening by his birthday, which is May 23rd. I hope I don't forget his birthday, May 23rd. So if you know anybody and you're watching this show, please, please, please help me. Let's help each other. Get people that really know how to represent us in Nigeria. I would like you to find a radio station where we can encourage each other. Okay. With that being said, Tonight we're talking about trauma. And this is kind of like, I would say it's a buzzword, but everybody is talking about it, but not a lot of people are working towards it, right? It's a buzzword. It's what came out, and a lot of people are talking about trauma, but they're not really putting the effort to make it into reality. So tonight we're talking about um, those generational trauma. First, I want us to look at what trauma is. I don't want to start the show and you guys come back and I have to repeat myself. So if you're watching, share the show, invite your friends, invite your friends. We're gonna look at what trauma is, and then we're gonna look at what are those signs that people have trauma. Then we're gonna look at generational trauma, the definition of generational trauma. And then we're gonna talk about those things that are related to it. And then we're going to look at our African family in general. Um, you guys, I don't even want to talk about this, but I'm going to go to. So this week, I was able to see two videos on Facebook, and I was really disturbed by that. And we're going to get to that. Wish I could share that on here right now, but I can because I'm still trying to figure my way out of this thing. But I'm gonna try to find a video and try to be sharing it side by side while we're here. So that's the- But the very first clip I saw this week was a little boy being extremely beat. He probably around the same age as my daughter, probably around 1 or 2 years old. And that father was literally beating that child. We're a human, we get angry and things happen. But that father was beating on that child, and there was a video of it when he posted it. I don't really comment on a lot of things, post and things I see on Facebook, but I was so angry. I was very, very fluid. Like I was angry. I wish I could get in that video and just like, but I couldn't watch the entire thing, and then I turned it off. Later on, this I think it's this morning, yesterday or last night, whichever. I saw a video where a little child was in a room crying, and the father and the mother was in a fight. And you could see that child was so angry. She was crying, but they absolutely disregard her because they wanted to get their feelings taken care of. And that is something that is a form of trauma. That's what led me to this topic this week that I wanted us to talk about trauma, generation trauma. Families, family secrets deep within our roots that we talk about, that I want us to talk about. And I think it's really, really destroying our community and marriages today because a lot of people are not healed but pretend to be okay. And then they jump into a relationship where either the child or the other partner suffers. So exactly at 9 o'clock, we're gonna jump into the show, guys. I'm just doing small talks. But yeah, welcome. All right. All right. Let me get my notes up. All right, dude. Trauma. Mm. There's so many type of trauma, you guys. Man. So, what have you guys been up to? I want to shout my mom out. My mom's birthday is coming up. I'm gonna try to do a little video recording, like wishing her happy birthday. She's turning 67, guys. Wow, that's a long way from now. Wow. You know, the other day I was trying to figure out my mom age. Kind of funny trying to figure out. Yeah, my mom is turning 67 April 1st. I don't know how her family know when her mom said, when people said she's giving birth, they probably said that was April Fool. Oh man. So, as I was saying earlier, recently, because we don't talk so much about trauma in our community that, a lot of us, you guys, my neighbor dog is on a rant tonight. He is not having it. So I apologize in advance for the noise and things you're gonna experience tonight through this. I don't know if this was gonna crucify me for the dog noise, but yeah, we got a dog that's barking all night tonight. But anyways, welcome to the show. As I was saying, I recently just tried to learn about my family history. As time went on, I started getting pieces and pieces and pieces from here, trying to understand certain things about myself. And it's funny, I was sharing earlier that my daughter, so I spoke to my oldest brother and I was telling him what was happening with my daughter. And he said, "Oh, Felicia, you used to do that when you were a baby." I did that. I didn't even know. It's quite interesting when you get few things here and there. So over a year now, I've been working on a book. I'm hoping this book will be done. I can get back to it, but I've been working on a book about my life, myself in general. And just, I always have to go back because there are certain things about my life that I don't know. And childhood wise, that I'm trying to understand. And every time I talk to someone else, I get something else. I get another information that helped me to jot down in my little note. But I definitely want to um, finish whatever it is I'm working on. But the book that I'm working on, shoot, I've started this thing for years now. I think it's time that I have the draft somewhere. I think it's time that I focus on and finish it. But those family histories are very, very important, detrimental to us as we get older, because there are certain things you're going to encounter that you don't know. And you start questioning yourself and try to understand, well, why is my life this way? Why is certain things happening to me? You think like, oh my God, I'm not normal. Or how can I be this way when somebody else has experienced similar things but are this way? And I think it's just because we do not understand our history and things that we've gone through from our childhood. Recently, I read something where it says that a trauma is something where, as a kid, childhood traumas are those things, kids will remember the most traumatic things that happened to them. And that's where trauma comes from. So, with that being said, we got just a few seconds left until 9 o'clock. We're going to be here until 10. Okay. Whoever can join us is welcome too. First, I want us to look at the definition of trauma. We're going to jump into it. It is 9 o'clock. Hello, my name is Felicia. I am your host. Welcome to Let's Talk with Miss Fee. If you're just joining us, go ahead, set the notifications so that just I am here every Saturdays and Sundays, but this week coming up, I am going live Thursday around 12 p.m. No, 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 take that back. I'll be going live. It's one of those extra days that you guys get to see. But I'll be going live by 10 o'clock. I'll go live for an hour. So starting this coming week, I am going to be having those days in a week where you see me live and we'll have a show for 1 hour. Okay. And if you're just joining us, on this platform, we talk about all things educational. We're here to learn with each other. We're here to share our opinions, some of the most controversial topics about family, marriage, relationship, youth, anything aligning that. That's what we talk about. We talk about things that you go through day to day that you do not want to talk about because nobody wants to hear it, right? But we want to. So we want to talk about it. So come on, let's talk about it. Tonight we're talking about trauma. We all go through it. We all have experienced it. We may not want to, accept it or want to keep it around. I think we all have gone through it. And I think the modern society have really made us to really be self-aware and understand that trauma is something that we experience quite often than we even want to accept. Tonight, the reason I'm talking about this topic is because I watched two clips this week. I've been in and out on Facebook this week. I probably could have posted something, but I be in and out, and wherever I'm at, I have network issues in the hospital. So you guys barely even see me these days posting things online. I go to work like literally. I leave my hospital to be at work that early, and I probably don't get back home till 5, and then I gotta pick up the kids. So it's a crazy shift, but we're here for it, right? Gotta support the fam. But yeah, the reason I really wanted to talk about this because there's a whole lot going on the internet in the Latin community, and it's quite disheartening to watch. Sad. We talk about women equality. We talk about women supporting each other, but we don't see people really sitting speaking together. None of the same people each other, tearing each other down. Um, None of the same people not making each other happy. But that's not why I'm here. I'm just putting that in so that way to build the process. I watched two videos this week. One was about a little child in Africa somewhere. I don't know if it's in Liberia or something. And that child was probably 2 years old. And that father, I don't know where he got angry from. He was very, very angry because you could see in the process of what he was doing, he was beating on that child so bad. God forbid that child could have passed. Who knows what the end result was? But that child looks like somewhere around 2 or 3 years old, probably 2 years old, if I'm not mistaken, or three. And he was beating that child. And I'm so on. Whenever I watch things online, I really don't comment on it. I just pass. But I really could not hold myself. I was so angry because looking at that child could be my 2 year old, my one or my 18-year-old child, or even my 3-year-old son here. And I was so angry. I wish I could literally go through that phone and just grab his hand and say, "What are you doing? Stop." But the crazy thing is, we're in a world where people will stand and watch and take videos of things that are happening and not do anything about it. That's the hardest part to watch. That's trauma. That is trauma. You are beating a 2-year-old and think he's not going to heal. Right? Let's jump into it. If you're watching, you want to join me on the live show, you're welcome to click on the link in the bio in the comment section. I pinned it. You can join me. If you want to leave a comment, you can go ahead and leave a comment. I'll put your comment up here and I will discuss it. Until then, let's go into our definition of what trauma is. Okay, so this is like the dictionary definition. Okay, a trauma is a deeply distressing, disturbing experience. Should I say that again? Trauma is something that you experience. It's a deeply distressing, disturbing experience. I had a trauma watching that video, seeing that 2-year-old child being beat. I could almost tell you beat to death because the child was on the ground and he was still beating that child. That child is not fully developed. We all went through those type of trauma, and it's not okay. So let's look at another definition of trauma. Hey boo. Hey Joyce. Joyce is watching. How are you? I saw your picture and you bawling your mind. So trauma is when we experience a very stressful, frightening, or distressing events that are difficult to cope with or out of our control. That is trauma. You guys, there's a dog. My neighbor dog is not having it, and that dog is making a lot of noise. So just manage with it, okay? We're gonna talk about. So I gave you the definition of trauma. Trauma is just something that a traumatic experience, whatever it is, something dramatic that you cannot control. You have zero control over, but you experience it. Something disturbing. I don't know what that is for you, but that's what trauma is. So there are three main types of trauma. We have acute, we're going to go through that. We have chronic and complex. I repeat, we have acute, chronic, and complex. And I'm going to explain what those are. Okay. All right. An acute trauma results from a single incident. So I'm walking. Is that a good example? No. So something happened. Acute is kind of like I went somewhere and I experienced that and it will never happen again. And that's what it is. That's acute, if that makes sense. That's what those type of trauma. So there are three types of trauma: acute, chronic, and complex. Okay? Chronic trauma is repeated and prolonged, such as domestic violence or abuse. So you live with someone, as we all know back home, there's a lot of families that can afford to take care of their kids, but they have other family member who are able to afford to take care of those children. So they send their kids to another family member to take care of them. And for the most part, we've all seen it and probably have experienced it. The child that is not the biological child is always treated a little bit different. And sometimes it's right there, you can see it. And sometimes it's kind of like fading, and you have to really pay key attention to know that. So the reason I'm saying that is because, for the most part, in my opinion, in our culture, which is something that I am praying and hoping that the more people talk about these things, it will stop that. Is the other child is always abused, is not treated equally. They're beating, or they aren't getting the food that they should have, the amount of food that they should have. They're not getting enough rest because they have to do all the chores and things like that in a home. Those are just the few that I can think about. And for the most part, some of them are not sent to be educated. Maybe that has changed now, but yeah, some of us experience that. But we're not here to talk about that, right? We're here to talk about trauma and things people are experienced, right? I'll share mine if when it's time. So we talk about three type of trauma. We said that trauma is a distress, something disturbing, something so dramatic that you cannot forget, or like, I'm trying to put it in a term that some people won't say I'm talking too much. But yeah. And then we talk about the three types of trauma, which is acute, chronics, and complex. We've already talked about acute basically is a result of one thing. Like, you were driving somewhere, God forbid, you got into an accident, something happened, and then you don't experience that again. So that would be acute. Chronics, as we all know, when you have a chronic illness, is something that you can't heal. You can manage it, but you can't heal, right? So something chronic, a chronic is something that's repeated. Like, it's not going away. It's gonna be there. So you must as well try to figure out how to handle that. And then the complex one, complex trauma, is exposure to varied and multiple traumatic events, often of invasive and interpersonal nature. I think, in my opinion, this is the one that most African experience, the complex trauma. And that's why I wanted to talk about this today. The two videos I saw, that 2 year olds that were really being beat, in my opinion, that child was being beat to death because it's in a third world country or in Africa somewhere. We don't even know what ended up happening to that child, right? The second one, a child is in the room. Mom and dad is physically fighting, like, I mean, physically, hands on each other fighting. That child is around the corner. One of them, God forbid, could have fallen on that child. The child was crying, and they're still doing it. And this is, again, in our African community. This has to stop. This is how hurt people groom hurt people. There's a whole lot going on the internet. This is why I'm saying that, as a child at that age, you're watching this. A father is beating you to that point, and now you grow up. It's not going to stop there. You're 2 years old, they're doing it. What makes you think when you're older, they're not going to continue that? You get older, see that nobody's coming to your aid to tell them, stop, that's bad. You've just exhibited bad habit, and now you think it's okay. So when you jump into a relationship, you think that that's the way. And that's what I want to talk about. The topic tonight is, are there generational trauma or family secrets that is destroying marriages today? My answer is yes. It's yes. There are. There are generational curse. You hear all the time generational curse, but I think it's generational secrets because it's taboo. We can't talk about it. We just got to keep it as that. Don't say a thing. If you say a thing, somebody's gonna say something. and it's gonna look bad. You don't want to make the family look bad. You don't want to do this, you don't want to do that. So let's talk about it. Why do I say that the complex trauma of the three types of trauma, complex trauma is the one that most African experience? I'll tell you why. Hmm. So I gave you an example where a child comes and live with another family member. And for the most part, most of the time, a lot of people don't want to talk about it. But I think since the internet started, a lot of people started talking about it more. Before I even go there, I'm just gonna say the reason in that video that I watched of the kid being beat, I put that this is what America defined child abuse. And that's where I think a lot of families do not understand what they call abuse. In my opinion, when you are angry, when you're enraged, there's a difference being angry and being upset or mad or disappointed. But when you're angry, you should never ever touch your child. That's just my opinion. Because in that point, in that moment, I mean, you're not thinking rational because all you're thinking about is how that person make you angry. Again, disclaimer, I am not a psychologist. I'm not here to be a counselor or whatsoever. I'm discussing the issue and sharing my opinion. So whatever I say here, if you want to use it for your own good, that's your choice. If you decide not to, that's your choice. That's share my opinion. If you would like to join the show with me and have the discussion, please feel free to type in the comment section and check in the section. There's a link there, and you can click on it and we have the discussion. But tonight we're talking about those trauma and secrets in our relationships that can be passed down from generation to generation. So right there, the clips that I was telling you guys about, that's the clip. That's how generational trauma starts right there. And when you look at the three types of trauma, it says complex trauma is an exposure to varied and multiple traumatic events, often of an invasive interpersonal nature. For example, a girl comes and lives with another family member. Let's just say that family member that that child knows is the wife of whoever. And we see it quite often. A lot of people don't want to talk about it, but it's happening. Um, that child is exposed to either both of the parents fighting physically, abusing and using words and things that are not encouraging on each other. That's an exposure. And then secondly, they they themselves experience it. I watch a YouTube story about a young lady that was sent to a family member to live with them, and she it's quite disturbing. And she started living with them. She was the one taking care of them and their family and things like that. And when she got there, they had another boy that was living there, and he started molesting her and started raping her. But because in her mind, like she's been told that, you're there, you are the breadwinner, you're here to support the family. So you got to do whatever they ask you to do. And she caved into it. That started happening. And then later on, the men of the household started with her as well. And again, like I said, complex trauma exposure to, you know, that's a trauma there she's experiencing, right? And then, the father too got involved with her. She ended up getting pregnant. Now, she didn't know who the baby was. She didn't know if the baby was for the father or the boy that was there. And for one person to experience such life, first you were born, you were struggling, and then your family or your mother and father believes that you're gonna be sent somewhere that someone's gonna take care of you on financial level, due to financial level, not that they're gonna take care of you physically, mentally, emotionally, and raise you and groom you for a better person for society. But in our African community, all we think about is that financially you will be okay. And that is a problem. That is a huge problem. That's why I want us to talk about this. I, when I watched that lady's story, I cried because she went through a lot in life to have experienced that. She ended up having a child. And then when she called her mother, according to her now, when she called her mother to let her mother know what had happened to her, the family member created another story and said that the girl has been all over the place and now she did this. They were trying to help her. Now she, destroy her life. They don't want her in the house. But because she's been exposed to such life that she couldn't even hold it back, she couldn't even say more. And they took the child from her. Their story was, oh, we're going to take care of the baby, but she got to go because she's not Syria. We can't take care of her and take care of her child. We're willing to. But because they have money and they have power, they could do that. And that happened a lot in our African community. And it has to stop. That's a form of trauma. That's why I said complex trauma is exposure to varied and multiple traumatic events. That is more than traumatic events, you guys. But anyways, in this lady's story, she all she thought was whatever people told her to do, that's what she had to do. And then, long story short, she left her kid with them and left to fend on her own. She went to go look for things to do on her own. And throughout her life story, basically, she just thought being promiscuous was it, having multiple partners, doing whatever she can to survive. That was it. That was a trauma that she experienced, but now has become a generational curse or because nobody other than her mother and those people within those confined space knew that. Well, her mom didn't really know because she just told the story, but then the mom believed the other people. So, you know, but she had this child and now she couldn't see her child. And that is a trauma she had to live with for the rest of her life. Because everybody she saw, she thought that's what she had to do. And that's why I'm here today to tell you that if you've experienced things like that and you have not discussed it, it can destroy you, your relationship. These are things that you should be completely healed before you get into a relationship. But unfortunately, in our community, we do not discuss these. We don't talk about it that much. We don't discuss it. It's not for discussion. That's it. And that's okay. But at some point, we have to be able to talk about it. Look at the internet right now. See people passing, people cursing each other. When somebody's trying to have a relationship, there's something that's people that have trauma, if you have not healed, in my opinion, you can try all in the world and go around and say you're building a relationship. You're not gonna be able to build a complete relationship. So let's look at generational trauma. What is generational trauma, you guys? Generational trauma. What is that? So, generational trauma is caused by extreme events, abuse, or prolonged period of difficult times. Common cause of intergenerational trauma can include domestic violence, physical, emotional, and sexual abuse. So, generational trauma, I'm sorry, it's kind of like I have my kids. We're going to start with my tree, with my family tree. Basically, my family tree is kind of like immediate family, the ones that I just created. So, generational trauma, as I said, is caused by extreme event like abuse, for instance, right? So, because I have to depend on somebody else, they abuse me, right? I'm just trying to paint a picture for you. And then because, how do I put this? Because I need to, it's just what? It's scripting. Wait, is something happening with my live show? I just saw something. What is that? I saw a glitch. I saw a glitch. I saw a glitch. I saw a glitch. You guys, I saw a glitch. Okay. I was like, wait, what just happened? But anyways, let's go back to it. So generational trauma, for the most part, is caused by extreme events, kind of like abuse, um, a- for a prolonged period of time, like kind of like, let's say, like what they used to do back home, what I remember. Because you stay with me and you cause a problem, I'm going to beat you and take food from you, make sure you starve. Some people to the extreme of doing extreme things to you, placing hot water in you, burning you, and things like that. I've heard a lot of stuff, here and there that people do. So let's say my kids live with me, and part of the abuse is what they do. Part of the abuse is that I create a habit. So let's say me and my husband create a habit of whenever our kids do something, we say because we're training you, right? We take hot candles and burn them with it. I'm just giving you an example, guys. I do not do this, please. I'm giving you an example of generational trauma, right? I do that, or whatever they do, I beat them. And not just be then like spanking, but like literally using whatsoever I can use to do that. That's abuse, by the way. And then let's just say I make them starve for one day a week. I tell them they can't have food or things like that. That's traumatic. They're going to remember that for the rest of their life. I know people be asking, you were so young, how do you remember? Because it's traumatic. That's something that's a chemical reaction in your brain that it cannot forget it. And I'm glad this word is a buzzword because a lot of people are learning about it. So now I've created a trauma for my kids. And then when they get older, it becomes a norm for them because they think that's what it's supposed to be. And then they're going to go, they get married and continue those behaviors and pass it down to their kids. And then now their kids start to do it. That's how you build that generational curse. secret. We've heard generational curse. Whereas there's something where it's like people are like, oh, we need to stop this. This got to stop. It's the same thing as generational trauma, in my opinion. You know, it got to stop. So that family that I saw that was fighting and the baby was right there, the child, she was crying. Basically, she didn't want to see that. They created a generational trauma right there for that child because she's going to grow up. She's going to remember that happening. And then when she get a partner, she's going to think it's okay for she and her partner to do that because she's going to start it. A lot of things that we don't talk about is the fact that we women always start the physical fight, and then it turned into men being abusive. So let's just say she grew up, she started to argue with her partner or husband, whatever it is, and she believes that her reaction is to jump on him and fight, maybe pick up something and hit him with it. And that's not okay. That is not okay. But you have just created that generational trauma for that child. That she is living into this world, he or she will be living into this world and think that that's okay. She's going to get a partner and think that having a partner beating on them or doing things like that is okay. For example, instead of family secrets, there's a lot of family secrets. There are things people are doing that is not okay. That even if anybody was to look at them, they will know that that's wrong, you know. So, let me go back to my notes, guys. So, how do we know that our partner have generational trauma or they have trauma in general? They've experienced it, they haven't gotten the healing yet. We hear a lot of people, say that I've handled my trauma. Trust me, if you handle it, you don't have to say it. People see you and they can tell. There's a lot of people hurt and haven't really dealt with it. A lot of people are going through trauma that they haven't really like coped with it. They haven't figured out if they even what type of trauma they have and how to deal with it. We jump into relationships without properly vetting each other because we're in a new age and we feel like we can make decisions whatsoever and it doesn't impact anybody else, it's impact me, so that's it. No. Those things that you exhibit or that you take away from your family goes with you into marriage and your family life. And I am here to tell you that if you're in our African community and you have not healed, please stop talking to people that are already going through trauma or have experienced it that haven't properly healed. Because the only advice that they can give to you is to be disruptive, to destroy other people. You know, I remember I spoke to someone. I was like, you know what? This is when in my dating stage, and I said, "Oh, he did this to me," and I would not believe what she said. I was like, "No, I can't do that. Why would I do that? Why do I want to hurt somebody else? Why? I'm just gonna walk away. Can't do that." And she was like, "Oh, if that was me, this is what I'm gonna do." Oh, you're not going to do that. And I remember telling her, I said, "Girl, you talk to a therapist." Oh no, I have someone that I really trust that I talk to. No, you can't talk to someone going through trauma. If you have not fully healed, if something traumatic happened to you, you need to talk about it. You need to know who you're talking to about it. You can't go to your best friends and be talking all about it. She's going to try to make you feel better by telling you things that you want to hear based on how you're saying what you're saying. So the best thing to do, I think the first thing we can do to heal from generational trauma is by acknowledging that we have that. And I think that's where most of us are falling short. We're not talking with our partner. You should sit down and talk with your partner. Let them know those life experience you went through, things that have happened to you, things that you can't forget. I can tell you, there are a few things that have happened to me in my lifetime, and I was very young that I would never ever forget it. And when I tell people I was at this age that I remember that, of course, they're shocked. How do you even know that? We're living in a world that everybody is just doing as they please, and because that's what makes them feel better. If you're in a relationship and your partner, everything you say to them becomes a problem, they that's trauma. You gotta help them figure it out, how to get help. Those things that we don't want to talk about are the things that we should be talking about. We don't talk much about how we were treated when we were little. We don't talk about how places we go and things we experience. Those are some trauma. Could fall into the acute trauma where you go to, let's just say, a year ago when we went to New York, I think I was pregnant with my daughter. We went there that summer. We usually go places, during the summer. That was our last vacation before baby girl joined us. And I remember we went to New York. We were using the public transportation. That time I was heavily, I felt like I was heavily pregnant anyways. And this was traumatic for me, and I would never ever forget this. I remember the train closed so fast. My son was in the car seat, the stroller, and we were trying to get out of the train to catch the next metro. And the door was about to close on him in that cart in that stroller. And oh my God, my spirit left me. I felt like I felt like, oh my God, I can't even explain the feeling that I had at that moment. Just seeing that the door's about to close on my baby. Oh my gosh. And we had to be pushing it. We were pushing the train door. And the first thing came out of my mouth was like, oh my God, I would burn this entire building down. I don't care if I go to jail. God forbid. But we were able to pass that. That was a trauma for me because it took me somewhere where I felt like, wow, if this happened, I'm going to lose one of the most important people in my life. I didn't care in that moment what happened to me. But those are some of the things that I feel like in our community we overlook. We don't pay attention to it. We think like, oh, whatever. Yeah, it happened. Those things may happen. No, but that's traumatic. It might not be the extreme, but it's traumatic. It's something that whenever I'm over there, if I'm ever in the train and I'm getting out with my babies in the stroller, I will always remember that moment. That was a trauma. Sometimes we take those trauma into our relationship, we get upset. We haven't healed. How can two unhealed people make something work? You cannot. That's where you have to sit and try to figure that out as couple. Some of the things that I think that couples go through that are generational secrets is you see someone who um beat their wives. Like recently on Facebook, you've been hearing a pastor did this, a pastor did that, a pastor did this to the members. Do you really think that the pastor wives of his children do not know he or she have been doing. They know that, but they're not helping each other. And now his kids would think that becoming a man of God or someone, you just need to hide behind a shield and make people gain your trust and then use them. And then they will be quiet because they understand that they don't want to go to hell because if they do tell what's going to happen to them, it's not going to be fun. So these are topics that I feel like a lot of people don't want to talk about it, but we have to make it normal. There are generational trauma that are affecting relationships. For instance, if a guy saw that his dad, all he used to do, the dad told him, the only way to show love to your mom is for me to beat on her when she disrespect you, when she misbehaves. You hear that a lot. Mom needs to I have to teach her, you're not her parent. You are not her dad. To teach her a lessons. So do not do that. Don't put your hands on her. Vice versa, she should not put her hand on you. That's not how you solve problems because you're creating another hurt human being that's gonna grow up thinking that that's okay, but it's not okay. With that being said, it has been a pleasure talking to you guys. We do have trauma in there are generational trauma, family secrets. There are. And those things sometimes are hindering our relationship. Family secrets where they can't even trust your partner. Or you grew up seeing your dad having multiple women, having kids, doing that. Another one that I can think about is trauma in the church. The church creates traumas for us. You go to church, so- someone in the church thinks they can just get up and talk to you. It's okay. It's not okay. Okay? So, with that being said, let's talk about some of the generational trauma signs and symptoms. Okay? Sign a lack of self-worth. Most of the time in your relationship, you don't feel like you're worth it. You don't think if you stay with this, if this person leave you, it's not gonna work out for you in life. You start getting anxiety, like anxious. You can't think straight. Your thought process are not going right. You're always depressed. Depersonalization or feeling detached from yourself and your surroundings. You don't want to talk to anybody. And this, we do a very poor job in our community. I believe, like in our community, we do not pay attention to signs of depression. That is so sad. We just want to put on this facade that we're okay. We're okay. Things are fine. Black people don't get depressed. You know, we're black, we're strong, we go through days. We don't get depressed. It's okay. Emotional numbness. Like somebody's talking to you, you're not even like considerate. It's just like whatever. So I'll give you guys an example. I have this employee that, in his opinion, he does not take instruction from women. Doesn't matter you're short, tall, black, whatsoever. He just does not take instruction from women. To me, that's a form of trauma. You have been grown to not experience that. That was an experience you had with parents. That's a generational thing. The parents have passed it down to you. Either one of them. Your dad probably have taught you and put you through things and say, do not, no matter what. But it affects your job, your wife. Oh, and the sad things, he's married. So yeah, some signs and sign of so impaired life skills, critical thinking, decision making, managing your own. So people that are going through trauma, you guys, I gotta drink some. Ooh, people that are going through trauma, people that are going through trauma, they some of the sign is they can't make decisions. They don't have life skills, can't cook, can't clean, can't do that because of certain things that happened to them. They're depressed and things like that. There's another buzzword called transgenerational trauma. So that's a form of trauma that passed down from my parents, my parents' parents. So my mom passed it to her, and then she passes to us. Then we passes to our children, and it just continues. Violence. We are violent, Those are some trauma. Their coping mechanism is for them to react because that's what they've been taught. It said when an individual experiences trauma, their body may adapt by adjusting gene expression. It's deeper, you guys. Again, if you're just coming across my video, my name is Felicia. I am your host for Let's Talk with Us. If you have any questions in the chat, please go ahead and set your notification. On here, we talk about all things relationships. We talk about love, family shit, and everything that has to do with anything positive. Oh God, I'm yawning already. But we're about to end this show, and it looks like we don't really have that much view. What is going on Facebook tonight, you guys? Where are you guys? One person's watching, but we're talking about those trauma. Before I close the show, I just want to say our community needs to do better. We need to work on ourselves before we jump into other relationships. Because what that does is we create more hurt individuals. Have you heard the saying, hurt people hurt others? Yeah. If I'm hurt and you did something to me, I want to hurt you too. Maybe those who hurt me, I'm not able to get to them, so I'm talking to you. But tonight, I just want to say, if you are watching and you left a comment or you come across my show later on, just want to say welcome. And tomorrow we're gonna jump into another topic. Tonight, I just want us to talk about trauma and generational. Uh, I believe that is destroying families and lives because if I learn from my mom or my dad that I just need to be violent, whatever somebody do to me that I'm angry, I lay my hands on them. That's a trauma that was passed on to taken care of. That can destroy your family. Lying is another trauma that I believe a lot of people like don't pay attention to. Your family have taught you to lie, and that's a trauma that we might not want to agree to, but I believe, like, let's just say you are somewhere and then someone asks you, and then you're like, no, or you've grown, you've gotten yourself to the point where you can tell stories and lies that are not true about yourself. Those are trauma, some type of coping mechanism that people exhibit from their family or the other relationship and bring it into it. That can destroy your relationship. Or pornography, that's another trauma, being exposed to it at a very young age. I watched a young man podcast the other day, and he was talking about how when he was growing up, his older uncle, before all these things became on the internet, it was on magazine. And his uncle would bring the magazine and have and call him into the room and say, "You see this? This is how you do it. This is how you do it. Come, let me try that one." That's traumatic. And that made him decide that he needed to be gay. That was a trauma that destroyed another individual's life. So whenever you're going through that and you haven't healed, you haven't find someone to talk to about it. How do you heal? You find a psychologist or someone with that matter. Or if you're in a relationship and that's hindering your relationship, just talking to your partner about it can save you guys in your relationship, whatever title you call yourself. So, yes, there are generational curses like lying, stealing, having, like just a bad spirit of breakups and things like that, you know. So yeah, definitely there are trauma that can destroy your relationship. Sometimes you just don't want to uh, um you just don't want to do anything in your relationship. Like, why would you be married and you don't want to cook? You don't want to clean? Some people become that type of person that don't want to do anything in the relationship because doing those things remind them of certain things that happened before. For instance, being raped. That's a trauma that somebody definitely have to heal before they can even be with someone else. Because when you're constantly in your relationship, that person mind might just trigger and go back to that moment. That would destroy relationships. So it is 9:51. I'm glad that we hit our target time. I'm gonna hang around. See, let me check the comment section, see what's been going on. If we had anything, we have Joyce. I think Joyce is the only one that commented. Well, you guys, it's been a pleasure being on here. I pray that our as technology improves and things improve in our country, I hope we can all learn to be healed. Like the war that happened in Liberia. 14, is it 14 years, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I stand to be corrected. But the war that went on in Liberia, a lot of people are hurt. Nobody got healed. And seeing that video of that little baby being beaten, to me, he was being beaten to death. Maybe I'm wrong, but a 2-year-old child has zero sense for you to even try to beat them, think that they will understand the mistake they make. They are just trying to figure out life. A lot of us are healed and we take it on somebody else. We're not healed and we take it on someone else. If you're someone you're watching and you've experienced some traumatic things in your life, I pray for you. I hope you find the hope that you need. I hope someone can guide you to someone. I hope you can talk to someone that you trust. So that way you don't pass it on to your kids or to your partner and destroy a beautiful relationship in the house. If you're watching tonight and you feel like you may be experiencing some type of trauma, please get out of it. Find help. If you can't find help, you can DM me. I will, wherever you're at, we can try to look around to see if we can get you help. But with that being said, the show is coming to an end. I just want to say thank you guys for always supporting us. Like I said, next week, Tuesday. No, no, not Tuesday. Next week on Thursday, this coming week, this week, Thursday, I will have a show in the morning at 10 o'clock. We will have a show for an hour, 10 to 11. And um, I'll post the topic. Since we're jumping into April, just want to say shout out to my mom. My mom's having a birthday on the 1st. We're planning a few things for her. And I hope this birthday will be the beginning of her smiling forever. Working on something on getting this show on the radio in Liberia. Just doing some few work on the outside, looking for people to join. So if you know anybody who's very good with the media and can represent us in a positive way, just one person, if they can represent us, they will definitely be getting paid to do it in Liberia. So I am open to receiving names and things like that. So if you know those people and anybody for that matter, reach out to me, DM me, send me a message. Until then, just want to say thank you. What we want to talk about. I will tell you guys, I'll probably have a show here where we talk about it more. The reason I want to do that is because I would like to do a segment of this show where we do that will be a segment of this show called Beyond the Fame. And we would like to have just entertainment purpose. We would like to have people, maybe some key Liberian artists and some, like I said, influential people. So this is a good one. So, yeah, I'm working along with my production person that's been assisting me. Shout out to Daniel. He's done a really good job hooking stuff up uh, with these stuff. So you guys have been MIA for a reason, working on it, and of course my schedule has changed. So you will not be seeing me on Facebook too often. Sometimes I pop in and out, I see it, but where I'm working at is super busy, and I barely get a chance to even call my family to say hi during the weekdays. So just wanted to tell you guys that that's where we're at. So if you know anybody that's in Liberia, guys, that so I think I got like two, three people names already, but I just want to interview them. I'll have a fair exchange and talk to them. Maybe a boy, girl, whatsoever, but they just need to know about the media world and know how to navigate. They need to have a phone that I can reach them and talk to them. They need to be a model citizen. They don't have to be perfect, but they need to be a model citizen. So, that being said, thank you so much. And you're probably wondering what a model citizen is. Two or three people in your community should be able to vouch for you that you are respectful, you carry yourself in a high respected way. So that's what I mean, model citizen. Okay? They gotta be in Liberia, not in the US, please. In Liberia, and talk to them and tell them, we're gonna do it like the interviewing and stuff like that. And then once I'm able to figure out what radio station I'm going to be on, I will let you guys know. But until then, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all your support. Please share the show. I know I haven't been on during the weekdays, just been coming. Like I said, I want to be on here, but this coming week is April. We're going to be starting, during the weekdays as well. So until then, I will see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place. Don't forget to share, support us, and continue to watch and subscribe to my YouTube page. I love you guys. Shout out to Joyce. I hope you're taking care of my babies. Thanks for joining the show, girlfriend. I know it's been busy for you. Everybody's schedules just been all over the place, but I think there's always a calm to the storm. So thank you. I appreciate you and see you tomorrow, where we talk about something a little bit more fun and a little bit more engaging. I know this one was heavy, but I needed to talk about it. It is 10 o'clock almost, and we're moving around until we butt out. All right. Thank you. Bye. Have a good night. Oh, happy Easter. Happy Resurrection Sunday in advance of coming up. I pray that we all see what's the purpose of the season. Just go to you guys. I gotta go get my hair, something together, get myself ready. Gotta put the kids' clothes together. We're going to church tomorrow. All right, see ya. Thank you. Bye. Till next time. I need to get a theme song right. All right, guys. See ya. Hasta la vista.